is up, everybody? Sven Diesel here. We're going to be tying up the quick Simi Leech. Basically, this is a leech using Simi Seal. I was driving around and thought, hey, why not reverse tie in the Simi Seal dubbing? So we're going to do it. So basically, we're going to be maybe saving a little bit of time on this versus doing a dub loop. But let's go ahead and get started. Now for this particular pattern, we've got an Ahrex hook in. This is a size 12, and I've got a lead wire. This is 0.015, and I've just got a brass gold bead on here. And we're just going to do about 10 wraps here with the lead wrap. You can use lead free if you want. And I just want to get a little bit of weight, and I'll just shove this right up into the bead and leave that tag end up. This is just a little trick I do. You can pull it off, but we're going to be using some Semperfli 8/0 wax thread and orange, and I'll go ahead and start my thread right behind that lead wrap, and then as I come back, I basically do 2 wraps to 3 wraps, and then that lead wrap tag end just comes right off and it's secure. So I'll zigzag through that lead, kind of creating a nice thread base, and then we'll go ahead and snip out our tag end. Now for the tail on this, I just need to add a little bit of structure, and so I'm just going to use some Whiting Farm. This is bird fur. It's in a grizzly olive, I believe, and I'm just going to take one little small feather. We're not adding an actual tail. I just want something to give it a little more structure than just the dubbing, and so I'll go ahead and tie that in about 1.5 times the length of the hook shank, and give some nice securing wraps as I work my way back. I will snip out the stem, and then we will put just a tad bit of super glue or Zap-A-Gap. I like this in the brush because you can control a little bit better. I just want to hold everything in place so that, you know, if I get a hit on the bead, it's not going to shift everything back into the bend of the hook. So now we'll just lay down a nice thread base, kind of bonding in that Zap-A-Gap, and also creating a nice orange underbody, just in case there is any visible. I kind of want it to be a hot spot type body, and we'll end just a little bit before the tie-in point of the tail. Now for the body, we're going to use this Arizona Mega Simi Seal, and this is olive here. It's a really nice dubbing. Fibers are like, what, an inch to inch and a half, and it's got some flash in it. And so I'm just going to pull out a little bit here. Roughly, if I were to pinch it, it's about the same size as the hook body at this time, the amount of thread and stuff we have on the shank. So not a ton, and I'm just going to make sure all these fibers are somewhat aligned, and I'm going to leave them a little bit loose and basically wrap them around the hook shank loosely, and then do a thread wrap loosely, and then a couple of nice securing wraps as I move slightly forward. Not very much. This helps with the taper of the body, and then I'm just going to divide these back. This is similar to, if you've done a lot of bucktail, reverse tying in, or I don't know what it's called, where I don't really do it in half, but this will allow us to, get a nice taper. As you can see, that's going to fold back, and then 2, it's going to add a little bit of profile because it forces it to kind of poof back, as you can see right now. So we're just going to repeat that process with the same amount of dubbing, about the if you were to pinch it, it's about the same diameter as the hook body right now. And then we'll loosely wrap. The key is loosely wrap, and as those fibers wrap around, that's totally fine. You actually want them to. You could actually be a little bit better about spreading this throughout the, making sure we have an even coverage, but I just let the thread do the work. And then we'll just build up a nice little thread dam there, so we got a nice profile poofing back like that. And now for the head, we're just going to do the same process again. Grab a little bit of fibers here, stack them so they're somewhat even, and then we will place them loosely around the bead now. And if you got any stragglers, they'll brush out as well. And then just a nice loose wrap. See how they kind of walk over and create a nice even distribution. And now we're just going to divide those and kind of wiggle our thread through the bottom. And now we'll just build up a nice little hot thread base here. We're basically building up that dam, but at the same time creating a hot collar. And that's pretty much it. So we'll go ahead and whip finish with a 3-turn whip finish, and then do it again for a second time, and we'll snip out our thread. And with most of my patterns or bugs or whatever like this, I like to put a little bit of a UV resin on that thread just to keep it in place. So I'll pull those fibers back, just put a little drop there. You can use head cement as well, that would be just as beneficial. And then I kind of don't want to stretch them as I'm curing this, but allow for that poof to be there. And bam, that's it. We're just going to brush it out now. You can be super aggressive with this. Those are tied in nice and strong. I'm going to brush backwards towards from the tail to the bead to kind of get those fibers going the way I want. And then we will kind of shape this to see how it's going to look when it's wet. And these are just going to mat down around that bird fur and just give a nice little taper there. And we have a really awesome quick leech. So color combinations are endless. The marabou or bird fur comes in a bunch of different colors. Simi Seal Leech in the Mega comes in a bunch of different colors. You can get a bunch of different beads, but tie some up, fish them. I hope they do well and pierce some lips for you. Thanks for watching.